Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. So did you go through the other lecture about structure of DNA, structure of RNA? It is a very important part of the chapter. Today we may move on to the next topic, that is Mendel's laws of inheritance. Before studying that topic, you should be thorough with some terms, some terminologies which are very important in this chapter. The definitions have not been given in the textbook. You may write this in your notebook thoroughly. Okay, you may write this in the language you understand very clearly in your notebooks because it is very important point. So the first term is diploid. Now in the other lecture I had told you about a figure which you had to see, 16.8. In that diagram they have shown the karyotype of chromosomes. Chromosome number 1, they are 2 in number. Chromosome number 2, they are 2 in number. How many chromosome number 3 are there? There are 2. How many chromosome number 20? There are 2. How many chromosome number 23? There are 2. Okay, so the number of chromosomes, of course it is different in different organisms. Okay, the number of chromosomes is different in different organisms. It has been given on page number 181. There is a table above. In crab there is 200 number of chromosomes. In humans there is 46 chromosomes. In a roundworm there are 4 chromosomes. Okay, so the number of chromosomes in each and every organism is different, and their structure is also, structure means their sequence is also different. Sequence means which nitrogen base, after that which nitrogen base, after that which nitrogen base in the structure of DNA, that is also different. But each and every organism is having two sets of chromosome. If the cell is having two set of chromosome, then it is said to be a diploid. If a cell is having only one set of chromosomes, then it is said to be haploid. Now what are gametes? Gametes are the cells which are produced in the germ cells, that is our reproductive cells. In our reproductive system, there are particular gametes which are produced. There are two types of gametes, male gametes and female gametes. A male body produces male gamete, that is the sperm, and a female body produces female gamete, that is the ovum or the egg. Okay, now this male gamete has only one set of chromosome, that means it is haploid. Female gamete, that is the egg or the ovum, is also having only one set of chromosome, that means it is haploid. Now when one haploid sperm fuses with a haploid egg, then an organism is formed, a zygote is formed, which is diploid. So one haploid plus another haploid will give you a diploid. That is why your father is a diploid organism, your mother is a diploid organism, you are a diploid organism. That means in every cell of yours except your reproductive cell, all the cells are having same, that is 23 pairs of chromosomes. Okay, so each and every one of us human beings are having 23 pairs of chromosome. Now how this is maintained? A male body produces a gamete which is having only one set. A female body produces a gamete which is having only one set. That one set and another one set would form a combined set, that is a diploid. That is why our father is a diploid, our mother is diploid, our cells are diploids. Okay, so this is about diploid, two sets of chromosomes, haploid, one set of chromosomes. Gametes are haploid, two types of gametes, male gamete, female gamete. Somatic cells means all the cells in the body except the germ cells, that means the reproductive cells, except the cells which produce gametes. Where are the gametes produced? The gametes are produced in the reproductive system of our body. Okay, not only our body, in plants also, in animals also. So The somatic cells are vegetative cells and they divide to produce diploid cells. Germ cells are present in the reproductive system. They divide to produce haploid cells which are called as gametes. Allele. Allele means different forms of the same gene. Now chromosome number 1, which you had seen in the figure, chromosome number 1, they are similar to each other. Both of them together are called as alleles. Okay, they are called as alleles. Next is dominant. Now, I told you for each and every characteristic there are two genes. Why there are two genes? Because there are two chromosomes. Okay, so consider a characteristic height. Okay, consider your height. Your height is a characteristic which you have carried on from your mother and your father. You have one set of chromosome from your father and one set of chromosome from your mother. Okay, now either both of them could be same or both of them could be different. Okay, now there are two types of genes. One gene which is always expressed, okay, which is always shown. That means it shows its color always. That type of gene which is always expressed, it is said to be a dominant gene. And the gene among alleles which is hidden, it is said to be recessive. Hidden means it is not hiding somewhere. It is there but it is not able to talk because dominant one is there. Okay, so there are two people, one who is very talkative and other who is very silent. Okay, if you are going to a market and there are two shopkeepers, one shopkeeper is shouting and shouting and shouting, okay, 10 rupees methi, 10 rupees potatoes, okay, and the other person is not shouting, he is just sitting. Whom you will mind? You will might go to that shopkeeper who is shouting. That means he is dominant. This is just an example. Okay, so the person who is the gene which is always expressing itself, that gene, it is said to be dominant, and the other gene which is just hiding, which is not expressing itself, that is said to be recessive. Now the two chromosomes which we are having, okay, that means chromosome number 1, there are two. On one there could be dominant, on another there could be recessive, or otherwise both of them could be recessive or both of them could be dominant. Okay, so we will study about that in the next clip. Hope you have understood what do you mean by dominant and what do you mean by recessive. Phenotype. Phenotype is the external appearance of an organism. Okay, if I have a dominant gene and I have a recessive gene also, but the characteristic which I will show will be that of dominant gene. Why? Because the recessive doesn't talk when there is dominant one. Okay, when there is a dominant gene, the recessive gene is not expressed. So the external appearance of a particular organism, what has been shown, that is said to be phenotype. Genotype means what is shown, their genetic makeup, that is whether it is homozygous or heterozygous. If both the genes are the same, then it is said to be homozygous. If both the genes are not identical, they are different, one is dominant and other is recessive, then it is said to be heterozygous. I repeat, if both are dominant or both are recessive, then it is said to be homozygous. If one is dominant and other is recessive, then it is said to be heterozygous. That is said to be the genotype. Now what is F1 generation? There is one father, one mother, their first generation, their generation. Okay, whatever, a boy or a girl, their child, consider they are having only one child. Okay, that is said to be first. Okay, from where we are calculating. It has been going on since several years, okay, millions of years. But consider we are calculating from our Panjoba, from our great grandfather. Then the great grandfather is the first parental generation. Our grandfather is the first generation, first filial generation. Understood? So the first filial generation means the first generation which we are carrying out, we are studying about. Okay, that is said to be first filial generation, and the next generation of this, that is said to be second filial generation. Now these are the terms which you have to understand. You may write this in your notebook in the words you have understood. Then only you will be able to understand the monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross which was carried out by Mendeleev. It is Mendel, Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel is considered the father of genetics. Okay, he had carried out experiments on a particular trait, on a particular plant, which is green pea plant. Okay, it is a pea plant. Not chemically, the binomial nomenclature, the scientific name of pea plant is Pisum sativum. You may take page number 184, you may underline. Mendel carried out research in this direction and put forth the principles of heredity responsible for inheritance. All of the Mendel's experiments were based upon the visible characteristics of pea plant, that is Pisum sativum. Now what were the characteristics which he studied? This is a 3-mark question. What were the characteristics? It has been given on the left hand side in the table. Shape of the seed. He studied about shape of the seed, color of the seed, color of the flower, shape of the pod, color of the pod, position of the flower and height of the plant. So these were the characteristics which he studied about. Okay, now out of these characteristics, again there are 2 genes. One gene in shape of seed, there are 2 shapes for pea plant, pea pods. Okay, one is round and other is wrinkled. Okay, one is round type and other is wrinkled type. Out of those, the round one is dominant and wrinkled one is recessive. Okay, wrinkled one is recessive. Color of the seed, yellow is dominant, green is recessive. Color of the flower, purple is dominant, white is recessive. Shape of the pod, inflated is dominant, constricted is recessive. Color of the pod, green is dominant, yellow is recessive. Position of the flower, axillary is dominant. Axillary means towards the sides, and terminal is recessive. Terminal means towards one end, towards the top. Height of the plant, tall is dominant, dwarf is recessive. Now I will explain with the help of tall and dwarf. You may see in the textbook that for tall they have written capital T and for dwarf they have written small t. Now while drawing the chart, you have to write the letter, capital letter for dominant characteristic and small letter for recessive characteristic. Consider, I told you there are 2 genes for one characteristic. If the plant is having both the genes capital T, then that plant will be compulsorily tall. Okay. If the plant is having one capital T and one small t gene, that means it is having one dominant gene from one parent and another recessive gene from another parent, then that generation will be tall because it is having that one dominant gene. Okay, so that is why I had told you the dominant gene always expresses itself. Even if we are having that one dominant gene, we will have that dominant characteristic. Why? Because it is dominant. Okay, and if both the genes are recessive ones, then the recessive characteristic will be shown. That means the plant will be dwarf if it is having both genes recessive. Okay, so these were the studies which were done by Gregor Mendel. Now we may move on to the next topic, that is monohybrid cross. Now the next is Mendel's monohybrid cross. In monohybrid cross, he studied about one characteristic, that is height of the plant. We had discussed what were the characteristics he studied about. It is in a figure, the table 16.7. He studied about 7 characteristics. Out of those characteristics, the characteristic height was studied for monohybrid cross. He took 2 plants which were homozygous. Homozygous means both the genes were the same. Okay, so that is said to be the parental generation P1. The plants which he selected, one male plant and another female plant. That means which is having a male flower and which is having a female flower. Okay, so parental generation P1. One was tall. Tall, that is, its genotype was homozygous. Genotype homozygous means both the genes are the same. This is also the same, but one tall plant and one dwarf plant. The dwarf plant will always have the genotype small t, small t. Now, while taking the characteristics, while writing the chart, you have to take the dominant characteristic capital letter and the same small letter for the recessive characteristic. If you take another letter, you won't be able to draw the chart. Okay, so genotype of tall is capital T, capital T. Genotype of dwarf here is small t for the first generation P1. Their gametes were formed. Now I have told you what do you mean by gametes. Gametes are haploid which is having only one set of chromosomes. Now this can form 2 gametes. Whatever gametes it may form, all of them will be capital T because it is having only capital T genes. This is having only small t genes. So whatever number of gametes it may form, all of them will be small t. If they fuse together, it will get F1 generation. That will be capital T, small t, which is a diploid. This is haploid, this is diploid, this is again diploid. Okay, so it is having 2 sets of chromosomes. One set is dominant, another set is recessive. What will be the phenotype of that generation? It will be tall. Why it will be tall? It will be tall because it is having one dominant gene. Okay, it is having one capital T and one small t. So even if it is having one small t, it is having one capital T. So that T will be dominant and it will show the characteristic tall. Okay. So, and the genotype is heterozygous. Why heterozygous? Because one is of dominant gene and another is of recessive gene. Now, the selfing of this plant was done. Selfing of this plant means in the same flower, both the male part is there and the female part is also there. Okay, so the pollination was carried out in the same flower itself. Okay, here the pollination is carried out in between 2 different flowers or 2 different plants basically. Here it is in the same plant, same flower. So the phenotype of both the parents, it is the same flower. So it will be tall, tall. Okay, but the genotype is capital T, small t, capital T, small t. This is capital T, small t, isn't it? Now the gametes, it can form 2 type of gametes, either capital T or small t. Either capital T or small t. Now, what will be the F2 generation? To study about the F2 generation, you have to draw a Punnett square, okay, a particular checkerboard which makes it easier to determine the particular genotype of the next generation. Here, I have drawn the male gametes. These are the male gametes, you may see. Consider this as male and this as female, and these are the female gametes. If this male gamete fuses with this female gamete, then you will get the next generation as capital T, capital T. If this female gamete and if this male gamete fuses, then you will get capital T, small t. if this male gamete fuses with this female gamete, you will get capital T, small t. And if this gamete and this gamete fuses, you will get small t, small t. Now this is why there are variations. Okay, even if you might be two sisters, two brothers, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm not talking about single ones. Now both of you don't look similar. Okay, if you are three siblings, then all three of them won't look similar. Why they don't look similar? It depends on the characteristic which are being distributed. Okay, now even if the parents are the same, they are having the same characteristic, but the generation which have produced, this will be tall, this also will be tall, but there will be one dwarf. There are chances of getting one dwarf plant. Okay, so this shows that if there are both of the genes are dominant, then compulsorily the characteristic shown will be dominant. If one of the gene is dominant, then also the characteristic dominance will be shown. Recessive is only shown if both of the genes are recessive. Okay, now in this case, what is the phenotypic ratio? The phenotypic ratio is 3 tall is to 1 dwarf. This will be tall, this will be tall, this will be tall. So you're having 3 tall and 1 dwarf. That means the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. Genotypic ratio is 1 homozygous tall. This is homozygous. Homozygous means both the genes are the same. These two are having different genes. So 2 heterozygous tall and 1 homozygous dwarf. That means the ratio is 1:2:1. Okay, so the parents, one was tall, the other was dwarf. Their next generation were all tall. Their next generation had one dwarf. That means this dwarf characteristic was hidden somewhere in this generation, isn't it? That is why it is shown in the next generation. In our case also, you might have observed some of the characteristics which our grandparents are having, we are having those characteristics. It might be due to these shuffling of genes, dominant genes and recessive genes. Okay, now the dominant genes are dominant and recessive genes are recessive. Now there are different types of dominant genes and recessive genes. In our syllabus, we don't have a combination of both. We are having either dominant or recessive. That means if tall and dwarf are crossed, you won't get a medium plant. Okay, you don't have that in your syllabus. There are characteristics like that, but it is not for you in your syllabus. In your syllabus, you have to study only about compulsorily dominant and compulsorily recessive. Okay, so in monohybrid cross, if you are having a question to explain monohybrid cross, you have to draw this chart, minimum this much. In your chart, in your textbook, they haven't written the phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio, but it is necessary to write either in the chart or in your answer. Hope you have understood. Now we will see the next, that is dihybrid ratio. Now the next is Mendel's dihybrid cross. In dihybrid cross, 2 characteristics were studied. Okay, in monohybrid cross, 1 characteristic at a time was studied. What did we study? We studied about height of the plant. This is Mendel's dihybrid cross, in which he studied about color of the seed and shape of the seed. Okay, color whether it is yellow or green, and shape whether it is round or wrinkled. Okay, so the first generation, parental generation, which he took for study, he took 2 plants. One was having round yellow seeds, other was having wrinkled green seeds. Okay, what were their phenotype? Phenotype was round yellow and wrinkled green. What was their genotype? Their genotype was homozygous. Homozygous means they had the same type of genes. Both the genes for one characteristic were similar. That means For round, capital R, both of them were similar. For yellow, capital Y, both of them are the same. For wrinkled, small r, and for green, small y, small y. Why I have written 2 times? Because there are 2 genes. Okay, for every characteristic there are 2 genes because the cell is a diploid. Okay, now these genotypes, when they produce gametes, they get only one set of genes. It can form any number of gametes. With those gametes, all of them will be having only one set of genes. Now whatever combination this may have, it could be capital R, capital Y. Okay, their gametes will be capital R, capital Y, and the gametes of these will be small r, small y. If they are made to cross with each other, you will get the F1 generation, which is capital R, capital Y, small y. Okay, this will be the first filial generation. What will be the phenotype of that generation? All of the plants which are formed by the cross of these, all of them will be round yellow seeds. Okay, even if one plant had wrinkled green seeds, no any plant in the first generation will be having wrinkled green seeds. Why? Because they are having one dominant gene for each. One dominant gene for color and one dominant gene for shape. What is the dominant characteristic? Round yellow. Okay, so all of these will be round yellow, having round yellow seeds. What is the genotype? The genotype is heterozygous because both the genes are different. Capital R, small r, they are different. Okay, now the next generation, selfing of this generation, that means the cross was done in the same plant, that is selfing of F1. What will be the phenotype? The male part will be having round yellow seeds because all of them are round yellow and round yellow seeds. Round yellow, now the genotype is capital R, capital Y, small y, capital R, capital Y, small y. Now when they are forming gametes, it is not that the dominant will come together and the recessive will come together. It is not like that. There is a shuffling. Okay, now here you may see the dominant gene came together in the first case. Okay, capital R, capital Y. Now here it took the recessive one, capital R, small y. They are combinations, small r, capital Y, and small r, small y. These are the 4 different type of gametes which a male part will produce, and similar type of gametes will be produced in the female part also. Okay, so there are 4 different types of gametes. So you can imagine what are the type of gametes which will be produced in case of human beings, because we are having 46 chromosomes and there are about 20,000 to 30,000 genes which are being shuffled. Okay, so RY, but all of them are different. Now I have taken the male gametes above and the female gametes towards the left hand side. This is a Punnett square which we are going to fill. So the first, if this male gamete fuses with this female gamete, you will get capital R, capital Y, which will be compulsorily round yellow. In this case, you will get capital R, capital Y, small y. That also will be round yellow. You have to make combinations of these. Capital R, capital Y. This also will be round yellow. Even if it is having one small r, it will be round. It won't be medium. Okay, why? Because in our syllabus we are having either dominant or recessive. Don't think about that now. Okay, now this will be capital R, capital Y, small y. This also will be round yellow. These two it will be capital R, capital R, capital Y, small y. Now the arrangement could be different also. You can shuffle the genes, but the genes should be there either here or here. Okay, you cannot put any other gene. So this will be round yellow. Now this will be capital R, small y, because this is small y, here also it is small y. So this will be round green. It won't be yellow, it will be green. Why it is green? Because it is having two recessive genes. So recessive characteristic is only shown if both are small y, small y. Even if there is a big Y, capital Y, it will be yellow. Now this will be capital R, capital Y, small y. This will be round yellow. Next, capital R, small y, small y. This will be round green. This is capital R, capital Y. This will be round yellow. Capital R, capital Y, small y. This will be round yellow. Small r, capital Y. This will be wrinkled yellow. Small r, capital Y, small y. This also will be wrinkled yellow. Capital R, capital Y, small I. This will be round yellow. Capital R, small y, small y. This will be round green. Small r, capital Y, small y. This will be wrinkled yellow. And small r, small y, small y. This will be wrinkled green. Now here you have got 4 different types of plants. Okay, 4 different types of seeds. You have got it as, I will write it here, round yellow, round green, wrinkled yellow, and wrinkled green. Okay, you have got these 4 types of seeds. You may check. You have to count them. You will get 9 round yellow, 3 round green, 3 wrinkled yellow, and 1 wrinkled green. You may check. This is about the phenotypic and genotypic ratio. So we checked from the board, that is Punnett square, that there are 9 round yellow, 3 round green, 3 wrinkled yellow, and 1 wrinkled green. Okay, so you may see that either this or that, there is no mix. Okay, so your phenotypic ratio will be 9:3:3:1. Phenotypic ratio in dihybrid cross is 9:3:3:1. Phenotypic ratio in monohybrid cross is 3:1. This is a fill in the blank question. Okay, phenotypic ratio in monohybrid cross is 3:1. Phenotypic ratio in dihybrid cross is 9:3:3:1. What about genotypic ratio? Here there are the different combinations which we got. Okay, you may check in this. We have got 9 different types of combinations. So this combination there is only 1. This combination there is 2. This combination there is 1. Okay, this chart I have made, it is there on page number 187. I will give you the answers. So the genotypic ratio, there are 4 1s, 4 2s, and 1 4. So the ratio could be 1:1:1:1:2:2:2:2:4. There is no particular sequence of this, so you can write it anyway, but in the ratio there should be 4 1s, 4 2s, and 1 4. This is for this year. Okay, and so we have studied about Mendel's monohybrid cross and Mendel's dihybrid cross. This is a 5-mark question. You have to explain and draw the chart. Below the chart, it is compulsory to write the phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio. If you are having a question on dihybrid cross, even if you are not able to remember this, even if you don't write these, it is okay, but you have to write the genotypic ratio. Now you may take page number 187. So what is the genotypic ratio of monohybrid cross? It is 1:2:1. What is the genotypic ratio of dihybrid cross? It is this. Okay, have you got it? Phenotypic ratio of monohybrid cross 3:1. Phenotypic ratio of dihybrid cross 9:3:3:1. Genotypic ratio of monohybrid cross 9:3:3:1. Okay, sorry, it is 1:2:1, and genotypic ratio of dihybrid cross is this. Okay, so we may see the use your brain power question. It has been deleted for you this year, but still we will discuss. Phenotypic ratio, round yellow, it is 9, wrinkled yellow 3, round green 3, and wrinkled green 1. Genotypic ratio, RRYY 1, capital R, capital R, capital Y, small y 2, capital R, small y 1, capital R, small y, capital Y 2, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y 4, capital R, small y 2, small r, capital Y 1, small r, capital Y 2, small r, small y 1. So what will be the ratio? They have derived it as 1:2:1:2, 1:2:4, 1:2:1:1. You can write it anyway. Okay, so now the next question, show the monohybrid cross between RR and RR. Okay, you have to derive the monohybrid cross. Next, why did the characteristic of the round yellow seeds alone appear in the F1 generation? Because round characteristic and yellow characteristic is the dominant characteristic. That is why all the plants were round yellow, because though all those plants had single gene of round and yellow. This part is difficult to understand, but if you understand, it is very, very interesting. Okay, you may go through the textbook, go through the lecture several times and study it thoroughly. This is a 5-mark question for your final paper. Okay, thank you.